Hey everyone, welcome to this training. It is the training where I'm going to explain to you how I'm able to stay home and raise my 4 kids. And I have 4 children, all under the age of 14. One is 13, getting ready to be 14, and the other is 12. Another is 10. Those are my 3 boys. And then I also have a 13-month-old precious little angel. And let me be just really honest with you right now. I'm sitting here looking at her, and I guess this is part of what is so cool about working from home is that your family rolls with it. You're able to be here with them, but they join you in what you do. And I guess that's a real blessing for me. So my daughter's name is Ava, and she loves Baby Einstein. We watch it about once a day, usually at dinner time. When I'm getting dinner ready, I'll sit her next to me in her high chair and give her some snacks, and we'll hang out together. So this is my first time actually delivering a webinar with her here, and we're going to see how that goes. So if you hear some excitement in the background or some annoyance in the background, again, I'm kind of taking this on a trial run. We're just seeing how this goes. So I'll know in the future whether or not I can pull this off just with her and I. Now, I homeschool my 3 boys as well, so I don't have the whole day free with just her and I. I do homeschool my 3 boys. They have plans today. Normally, they would be watching her as I'm doing my webinars, and they do a great job. But anyway, it's just her and I today. So just keep that in mind as we go through this. So, and that's her in the background. She's letting me know that she wants something. So the cool thing about a laptop also is that I get to kind of take this wherever I go. So, I didn't want to just sit here and spill my whole story to you. My angle and my purpose and my plan today is to get you to understand that anyone can work from home. And, if you want it. And the way you can do that is what I'm going to teach you. It's just some simple steps that can get you started in working from home, doing this yourself. You do not have to get a large bank loan. You do not have to quit your job today and do all those drastic things. So we're going to go through these little steps that can get you started working for yourself from home. And that is how I'm able to stay home with my children. I have my own business delivering trainings of various types. Okay, I'll talk about that a little bit more toward the end. So, starting your own business from home gives you the opportunity to determine your own worth, plan effectively for your non-working years. Okay, I'm talking mainly retirement here. Some people, if you're young enough on the webinar, you may not be able to even fathom or retirement or when you're going to retire. But I know for those of us who have put into a 401k and who have thought about that and plan for the future, this is something that is definitely on our minds. Also, setting your own schedule is a benefit of working for yourself, and then you can choose what you love to do, and that's really the thrust of what I'm going to talk about today. Now, why do this? Okay, why would you want to even work from home or work for yourself and be your own boss? Well, one of the main things is dissatisfaction with a job. Now, I've forgotten the statistics, but I think it's something around the percentage of 50. Okay, that's 50% of people who work a job are dissatisfied with it. And it may be more or less now. That was a couple of years ago. Also another thing that I personally did quite a bit when I was working as an employee is I would get out my 401k calculator through my investment company and crunch those numbers. And as a single mother, as a single parent, you may be looking at those numbers and it's just not adding up. Okay, you may have to retire at 113 or something, which is not going to work for us. So, you're putting away as much as you can. You may take advantage of the company's match and the whole bit, but it just isn't turning out to be enough. Another reason is why you want to start your own business is maybe you don't have enough time with your loved ones. Maybe you have no time. Maybe you travel. Maybe your company sends you all over. They expect you to do extra hours. You take home work with you. So you're sitting there, in another room doing your business after you even get home. So frustrated with no opportunity. You may be at a level where you've topped out either salary-wise in your department. You can't go make a lateral move, get into another department. So, that's kind of frustrating right there when you've bottomed out. And Maybe you're with a small company and there's not that much room for advancement or movement in that company. Or even if you are with a very large company like I was, maybe they want someone that has a skill set that you do not have and you're not able to get that so that you can move. Okay, so obviously various reasons in that respect. Limited income. Okay, so they're setting your worth. They're telling you you're worth X amount of dollars to them per hour or per year, and you think you're worth more than that. Or just bottom line, you don't want a boss. That was me. Also, you just don't want a boss. So that's totally understandable. So become your own boss, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to go through some simple steps that can get you started. You can go at your own pace. You do not have to quit your job. And I would actually encourage you, number one, not to quit the job. But if you are deciding whether or not you want to go into business for yourself or obtain a paycheck just for that security, do that. Go get a job, get that security of the paycheck while you're building your business. It was put to me that you are funding your venture, basically, okay? Instead of going out and getting a loan and paying for your startup, you're able to actually self-fund, which is an entrepreneur's dream, okay? That's awesome to be able to do that. My main thrust is starting a business online. I think it's the most feasible way to work for yourself from home and have the flexibility that you want, especially if you like to travel. So I can take my laptop with me. You can use Wi-Fi at the hotel or the resorts or, wherever you want to go. Usually there's pretty easy access to all of that. Low startup. Okay, so you're already home. You just need a computer and an internet connection. And I do talk about consulting. I think consulting is one of the easiest ways to get into business. It's a very, very low entry. You do not have to gain a lot of extra skills and expertise because you take what you know and you use that to help others, whether you're training them, giving them extra tools, encouragement, whatever you're doing, you're using what you know. Now, what I'm going to do is this webinar right here is going to cover these things on this summary slide, but I've also implemented a couple of other things toward the end. So these first few slides are going to be finding what you're good at, using your skills, personality traits, and passions. I used to call it talents and passions, okay? Skills, talents, and passions, but I found out that really what I'm talking about is personality traits. You're not so much looking at your talents as you are your personality, and we'll talk about that. Excuse me. Performing keyword searches to see who or if anyone wants what you have to offer. Excuse me. Site setup for your online presence. We're also going to talk about the logistics of getting your online business up and running. So module 1, I call this the 1-hour prosperity planning. Okay, you're just going to sit down, and I physically, months ago, got a piece of paper, a nice piece of paper that I liked, a pen or pencil, and I just sat there and I jotted down in 3 areas: my skills, my personality traits, and my passions. Literally, sit down and do that. And you can do it in 3 different columns, or I did mine in blocks, and actually had an extra one too. But now, after you do that, I'm going to show you kind of how to match those up, and then we're going to look at your results, because this is going to be the most natural business for you to get into after you figure those things out. So skills I define as you've got your informal and your formal. Your informal are going to be simply just by living, things you do every day. You didn't go to school for them. You did not have any formal training or anything like that. Examples like cooking, cleaning, raising children. Now, some of you do go to cooking school, and you obviously are going to have a little more on the skill side than someone who just kind of learns by watching, Cooking Network or whatever. But for the most part, some of us do cooking of some sort. So you get what I mean. And then some formal skills, such as things that you would obtain from schooling or your employer, continued education, those types of things, right? So running a type of equipment. I come from the manufacturing and fabrication background, so you would need quite a bit of training on a piece of equipment or some type of processing. And again, I'm kind of using myself as an example here because I'm a certified auditor. And then in your industry and your function, you would be trained for certain types of things. Now, your personality traits. There's a kind of a deep psychology behind this, and I'm not going to get all into that, but this is really what you're given, through your upbringing, and then just your genetics, just simple genetics. Okay, this is just something. Your dad was like this. Your mother's mother had this, and whatever, right? So we all know that. Oh, that your mom, you're so like your mom, or whatever. So definitely, this is something that is ingrained in you. This is a natural thing that happens in you, and you can actually probably ask your friends and family for some of these things, for them to help you name some of these things. Passions. This is things you love or hate. Okay, it can be things that bring you happiness or make you angry. So sometimes people think of passions as just something you love, something you just want to do all the time, or you really want to get your hands dirty with, or whatever. But it can also be things that make you angry. So things you love or hate, like nature, cars, things you don't like, right? So on the other side of that, selfishness and greed. And then things that bring you happiness or make you angry, such as animals, make you happy. And then, of course, you have on the other side of that animal cruelty. Okay, you have all those organizations that really fight for the rights of animals, animal advocacy, and there's children's advocacies and things like that. So I pulled out a few examples, and this is why it's so important to really nail down who you are, so your personality, your skills, what you know already, and then what your passions are. And examples of that are highlighted 3 particular people who are very, very well known for who they are and what they do. And secondly, it seems that they have really not changed their position in life. They've been in this same position, in this same industry for a while. And one of those people is Oprah Winfrey. Okay, she is a media mogul, revolutionized daytime tabloid talk show. She is a philanthropist, and she's known for her ability to get celebrities to open up about their lives on TV. That is her talent, okay? And her personality is such that people trust her, and she's able to get people to open up. So she has really nailed down her skills, okay? She definitely has some people skills. Her personality traits. People trust her, they open up to her. And then her passion is people, okay? Her passion is news and about people, okay? And then we have Woody Allen. Okay, he's a writer, director, and actor. He's known for his harsh one-liners, his Marx Brothers-inspired slapstick comedy, portrayal of neurotic Jewish characters in romantic comedies. I'm sure everyone's seen a few. And then a massive output of films over his long career. So Woody Allen, I mean, he is very witty. He has kind of an odd humor about him, so to speak. So, so much his skills, I mean, he obviously had to at some point get a little bit of skills writing and directing, okay, and probably some acting skills. But for the most part, his personality is such that he can do this type of comedy, right? And his passion is movies, okay, or his films. All right, so another example is Bill Gates, entrepreneur and philanthropist. He is intensely smart. He's a workaholic, and he is ruthlessly competitive, wouldn't you say? Part of why he is so successful. So having said that, we've just looked at a few examples of people who have definitely gotten in touch with their skills, personality traits, and passions, and they have used it to their absolute advantage. I mean, to the point of, if you want to talk about just bottom line and money, definitely rich, okay? Definitely these are the up there, okay? Millionaires and that type of thing. And then very, very much in the spotlight, okay? Very good at what they do. Everyone knows about them. So you want to start off with those 3 things and get that really nailed down so that you can be good at what you do and it's a natural fit for you, okay? And so tips having to do with all that we just talked about, chances are your skills are going to change, okay? You can get skills and you can forget skills, but your inherent personality traits will not, all right? Grow your skills based on your talents, right? So don't try to fit a square peg into a round hole. If you are good at engineering, probably shouldn't try counseling, right? You may not be as good with people as you are with machines. If you're a technical person versus emotional, thinker versus doer, or like an idealist versus a task person, okay? Scheduling, you like to be scheduled versus a relaxed atmosphere. Patient versus impatient. Leader versus follower. There's ad nauseum. We could go on forever and ever, but you get the idea. Now that you had your piece of paper, you did your 1 hour prosperity planning. You write all that down and you start to kind of circle the things that may have some type of relation to each other. Example, you're a people person. You figure out that your passion is people. People tell you that your personality trait is open and honest, and maybe like an Oprah Winfrey, people open up to you and they come to you to talk to you. And then your skills, maybe you've had some speaker skills or some psychology skills or something like that. You took a couple of psychology classes. This is a very loose definition, but it may all boil down that you need to be a counselor, right? Okay, and there's many, many other examples. But as you can see, you want to take those strong things that you wrote down and see how you can use them to find the most natural fit for you to start a business, right? So, teach you how to find these things. Finding your skills. You know, look back at your work history, at the industry you were in and the function you served in that industry. Again, I come from manufacturing and I was in quality. So a lot of my background, my skills, the things that I was trained to do, and an auditor, I was trained to do auditing, and I was also trained as quality assurance, okay? And I love those things, and they're very related. And I was actually in the oil and gas industry too, so that may have some bearing on what type of skills you write down for yourself. Look at your resume, look at your schooling, your major, and something you may not think of is your electives. You know, so you go through, let's say, 4 to 6 years of college, and you took a lot of extra classes. So check those out too, and your extracurricular activities. These may not be things that you are perfect expert at, but it may be things that you did that you used to be pretty good at that you could rekindle, right? So sailing. Yeah, I sailed in college, and I've done it a little bit since, but I was definitely good at it. You know, we used to race the 420s and everything, so I was always told, oh my gosh, you need to get on the sailing team and all that. Never did. But that is something that I could definitely hop in another 420 or a 42 foot or whatever for that matter, and I could get right back into that. So definitely a passion of mine, definitely a skill. So you see, you can kind of rekindle some of that and think back. All right, finding your personality traits. There is a really fun test, and it's very short. I think it asks you like 4 questions. You take a quick test. It's personalitytype.com, and it will ask you 4 questions in 2 categories. So you have 2 categories that you choose from. You answer 4 of those, and then it'll tell you what your personality is, and it'll give you a little synopsis about what that is, what that means. I'm an ENEJ. Oh gosh, I've forgotten now, but it will take you through that, and it's really good to kind of find out about yourself. So if you have no idea where to start there. And then make your own list. Make your own list of things that you think you have a strong personality with. And then look back at where you excelled the most. Okay, so when you were the happiest, are you a servant? Are you someone who likes to serve? Are you someone who likes to be served and be catered to? And then where were you the most comfortable as well? Not only where you excelled the most and where you're happiest, but when were you most comfortable? And usually those all go together. And then what's your sweet spot? And you want to kind of nail that down as something that you know, your top 2, I guess, something that fits all of those. Okay, now finding your passions. All right, now try things on a small scale. If you can't think of something that you're completely passionate about, do a little bit of research. Just check some things out. Try some things on a small scale. I wouldn't say go sailing, or maybe, I don't know, go sailing. Do something. Rekindle an old hobby or an old love. And these are just kind of brainstorm, tips, so to speak. Okay, if you can't think of anything. I mean, unfortunately, so many people are just so locked into what they've been doing day after day after day, so mundane, so status quo, that you really forget about a lot of these things. Okay, so reach back, reach deep. Talk to your friends and family, you know, people who really know you, and see, you know, what they think. Hey, what am I passionate about? You know, look at where you spend your money and how you spend your free time. Maybe you'll find things that you're passionate about by looking at those. And then what makes sense? After you've connected all that stuff and you've gotten all that down, it may not be what you think. It definitely wasn't what I think, what I thought when I did this exercise for myself. I was writing all these things down, and I knew I loved to teach and train. I knew that part of it, but I had no idea in what industry or in what area, and no idea at all. So step outside of the box to see if it'll work. Give yourself an open mind. Give yourself the ability to kind of think beyond what would be obvious to you. Okay, so what next? Now this is the end of like the first, what I call the first module. And I basically give you some homework. Okay, so what next? Spend that hour brainstorming all your skills, passions, and personality traits. And do that, today. Take a look at how you could connect a few of those. Remember to pick the top 1 to 2. And then brainstorm ideas about how you can make it a business. This is where you're going to start your first step into the next module. You're going to start thinking, okay, how can I make money doing this? You may already know it may be very clear. You may be looking at all this going, I have no idea how I'm going to make money with this, but we're going to try a few exercises in the next module, and I'll show you. So what you want to do after you've gotten those top 1 or 2 things from those 3 categories, and you've kind of circled a few to overlap, that makes sense, right? I mean, you don't want, just using my example, you don't want manufacturing and then counseling, maybe, okay? So do some keyword searches. That's what we're going to learn on this module. You're going to determine the demand of your particular product or service, and then you're going to take a look at your competition. Now, why do you want to do this? Well, you want to find out, are people looking for your particular service or product? And then how often do they look? Okay, you may not want to get into something that has a trend to it. Okay, let's say it's trending high today, or maybe you're kind of at the down slope. Okay, maybe you're kind of at the down end of the trend. You want to look at that too, so you don't really want to get into something that's maybe fizzling out. And then, is it able to continue, or is it just a one-time? And I use hysterectomy. Okay, that's probably maybe pretty relatable for women, but definitely hysterectomy is a one-time thing. So think about your product or service, and maybe you want some repeat customers, but you wouldn't get them with the first thing you think of. Okay, you want sustainable customers, right? You want people to continue to come back to you. That's a sustainable business. And then you look at your competition. Excuse me. So one of the handiest free tools that you can use is called Google Keyword Planner. It is a free AdWords tool. You can just look up Google Keyword Planner, and it will give you how many daily searches on the keywords. So let's say you used, try to think of some good keywords, and I hate to use it all in a box, okay, but just from my background, manufacturing, because that's easy for me to come up with. Let's look at machining, okay? Let's say you want to go into businesses, you want to do a B2B, you want to go into a business and you want to teach people how to use a particular program for a machine, okay? This can be a computer program too, software. You can kind of go across the board with this. So let's say you look up, for instance, computer programming, okay? Let's say you can look up software training. So you pull these things up on the Google Keyword Planner, and it will also give you, as you type these in, and you can go on YouTube and look at some how-tos on this as well, it will give you hints for other searches, okay, which is really good. So you can say, see more, okay, so once you put in, let's say, software training, it'll say see more over there. You click that, and it'll give you about 3 or 4 extras to look at, and it helps you with your brainstorming, with your keyword brainstorming, and you'll know why we're going to do this in a minute. And this is a very good first glance, okay? Now, if you want to really, really do a thorough keyword search, and you want to dig deep and spend a couple $100, you can get a really good SEO report. And this is what I did. And if you want to do that, you can email me, and my email address is at the end of this. I'm going to get that done for you pretty quickly and give you a little consult on how to read the report. Okay, so now you want to check out your competition. So those keywords that you looked up, you want to go into Google and check and see who else is out there doing your thing, okay, with your keywords. What else is pulled up with your keywords? And you want to look for pricing, offers. What kind of offers do they have? What kind of value do they offer? What do they include in their offers? And then what medium are they using for that? Are they doing events? Are they doing like this, webinars? Are they doing private consults? And then you want to kind of dig deeper. You want to experience what those people are doing. Do a free consult if that's offered, okay? Purchase or sign up for some services. Look at the discussions. I'll do this quite a bit. Go down in the comments section, or you get into a group or forum on that website and you kind of look at what people are saying, okay? Now, of course, if you want to spend a little bit of money, pay for that service. See what they're doing. See where you could do it better, okay? Sign up for subscriptions. This is another really good way to see how people are interacting with their client base, or with people, prospects, people who have raised their hand and said, yeah, I'm interested in your stuff. Send me a free newsletter, okay? So get the free newsletter, the free info, access to the group, whatever it is, and just start checking out, if you can, top 10, if you can find that many. All right, what now? Well, you want to look for ways you can offer what they don't. You want to use maybe a different delivery method, okay, or many different ones. Let's say they just do events. Well, maybe you want to do live phone calls. Maybe you want to do individual counseling or individual coaching calls or individual, client calls, whatever you want to call them. Okay, what is their personality like? Is your personality just completely different? And this is part of that personality trait. Your personality is going to set you apart. And I had to really learn this. I had to really own this, because my industry was very busy already, let's say. High demand, but already a lot of competition out there. So I had to be different. And I know how I'm different. I mean, I am not like everyone else. There's some pretty polished people out there. And I'm not really polished, but I am not for a reason. That's not my personality type. I'm more laid back. I'm high energy, but I'm laid back with what I do. I'm a lot more accepting. I'm tough love, but I empathize. Okay, so I'm a little bit of a paradox. I can offer both of that, but I'm a real good stay on task person. I'm not going to let people cheat the system or cut corners or stay pity party too long and that type of thing. So I do have some things that other people may not offer, okay? And where's your expertise? And this is where your expertise and your passions come into use, right? We just talked about that. And then experiences you have that they may not have. What have you been through that they may not have been through? What's your story? How are you different? Can you say you've been there and maybe they haven't? Maybe you've experienced something that you want to get into, a type of industry or situation that has maybe given you the edge, maybe given you a little more wisdom, okay? I know that I had that to offer as well in the industry I chose. And then what is your angle or your promise? Okay, so what ultimately do you want to tell people you can give them or deliver to them? Okay, so for example, this webinar, I told you that I could deliver you a way to start at your own pace, your own business from home. Okay, and I told you I was going to focus mainly on online. I'm going to give you the easiest way to find something for yourself that you will love for years to come. Okay, so what is your promise? What do you want to offer? And that's a small picture. That's just this training, okay? And maybe you want to start small like that. Maybe you want to say, well, I'm going to start with one training that's going to offer, how you set up a Facebook ad. Okay, great, awesome. That is going to be small. Now, think bigger than that. Are you going to maybe tell people you can help them raise their fan base by 50% by using these 3 tools or whatever? Okay, so, and that's even kind of on a smaller level. That may not be your entire business model, okay? But you want a big idea. And I'm just going to touch on this really quickly. This is kind of some internet marketing that I've picked up quite a bit, but I'm just going to scratch the surface here, okay? So you want a big idea, and you don't want it to be anybody else's big idea. You want it to grab people's attention. You want it to be something they want, okay, because you've already done your research. You want it to be fresh and newsy, okay? So you don't want it to sound like everybody else's stuff, right? Now, I'm going to talk just a second about market sophistication. This is something that really, really opened my eyes to how I'm going to market to people. For example, there's different levels of market sophistications. If you offer a program where you take this pill and lose 25 pounds, do you think you're going to get a whole lot of response to that? Probably not. I'm sure you've heard that before. Okay. I'm sure we've all heard that before. And you kind of look at that and go, no, the girl's working out too, and she's probably watching her diet. And, you know, reality sets in, right? Because we've heard the stories. No, you cannot just do one pill. You have to get healthy. You have to eat right. You have to work out. You know, you look behind the scenes and you find out that's what all these people are doing. Are there pills out there? Probably, yeah, I guess. Are they safe? I don't know. So that's a whole other issue, is safety of things, right? Okay, so here's an example of how, and I don't know I'm not in that arena right there, but here's an example of how Timothy Ferriss specifically took the market sophistication level and flipped it around so that his people that he was marketing to would not have what's called like a mental opt-out, right? So take this pill, lose 25 pounds in 1 week or whatever. Here's what he did. Now, in his day and time, outsourcing was becoming quite a big deal. So, you know, people would outsource to different companies, Philippines, Bangladesh, places like that. That was becoming kind of popular then. So he didn't want to be called outsourcing just like everyone else. So he called his book and his idea the 4-hour work week instead of saying outsourcing. So it was genius, right? So he has now a brand, and now he's got other books, The 4-Hour Chef and et cetera, et cetera. Timothy Ferriss, get some of his books if you can. Excuse me. I had to take another drink. And did not blend in with everyone else, okay? And offered something that was basically the same idea, but delivered differently, okay? So you want to not sound like the rest of the people, okay? And you need to think of a better way to say what you want to offer besides what's already out there. You want to appeal to people's emotions, all right, which is a really good marketing advice, because when you are behind the computer and all you have is your words to sell people or to get people to listen to you, you need to stand above, right? It's like, you know, jumping up and down on the mountaintop or whatever. You want people to recognize you and see you. All right, just remember, everything is a test, okay? Be ready to tweak and change that. You may put a training out there and it doesn't do well. Maybe it's just the title. So, you know, when you're not successful at something, just tweak it. Remember, everything is a test, okay? It's rare that somebody puts out something for the first time and it's perfect and you nail it. You need to tweak it, massage it a little bit, be prepared for that, and get feedback. You can join all kinds of blogs and forums and groups in your niche. You can pitch some ideas, throw them out there, see what people think, get some feedback before you actually, you know, put it in the public eye or to your target audience. Okay, so what next? This is pretty involved right here, but good stuff, and it has to be done. You do not want to throw a product out there that no one wants. Sign up for Google AdWords Keyword Planner. All right, just type that up, Google AdWords Keyword Planner, Google Keyword Planner, whatever, sign up. If you don't already have a Google account, I think you'll have to sign up for one and start checking out those keywords that are related to what you discovered in your exercise, the first one. Okay, your skills, talents, passions, skills, personality traits, and passions. And then play with it a little bit. Remember we talked about how you can do a see more. You can take that original keyword you put in there and it'll give you some extra ideas. And then Google search for your competitors using those keywords. So we talked about software training. Look up software training and see who else you're competing with. All right, try to find at least 5. 10 is better. And the reason you want as many as you can is because if you will pull up your competitors, you will see that there is a very wide, hopefully, you have a really wide variety of websites, personalities, values, offers, all those things, right? So you want to get a good sampling, I guess is what I'm saying, of what's out there. All right, and write down what they offer. So just start taking some notes. You know, put who they are and then, you know, go through whatever that value, price, you know, all that is, right? And then begin to think about how you can fill in those gaps or improve on what they've already done. okay? Especially if they're doing well. You don't want to be totally far away from what they've done if they're successful. But you want to be different enough, remember, where you stand out. You want a different angle, a different way of approaching people about the business you want to do. And you need to find out what you want to offer. So start kind of nailing that down. This is really going to get you into the next module. This is the next full module I have, Mod 3. And you want to find out what you have to offer. So start thinking about that. Now, Module 3. And I'm a little out of breath. I'm pacing around. I get excited, and I have more energy when I walk around. So it's another good thing about a laptop. And my little girl's doing awesome, by the way. All right, Module 3. You need a website. Okay, period, ... Own it, admit it, you need a website. Otherwise, you are not in business. A Facebook storefront is for amateurs and for hobbies and social hanging out and stuff. It will give you that professional status, and it looks serious. And it's a way to show and tell people what you do. And it's your one-stop shop. Okay, you can have all the information about your business in there. Now, to do that, you'll need to have a hosting company, because you have to have a company to host all the information you're going to upload onto your site. Okay, Bluehost. They are in the top 20. They're very affordable. Their customer service is awesome and has all the functionality you'll need. This is who I use, Bluehost. You own your domain name. So once you figure out your domain name, after you know what you're going to sell and you want to know, your business name is, if you can get that as a domain name, that'd be good. You want it to kind of represent what you do. You can also have unlimited subdomains, and they have extremely competitive pricing. So go do that now. And you can go through my affiliate link. It's http://bit.ly/Bluehost best deal. http://bit.ly/Bluehost best deal. Now, you'll need to make sure you know what your domain name is going to be. Now, if you call and talk to one of the service reps there, and I highly recommend Jonathan Wetzel. He has helped me just, I can't even tell you how many hours I've spent with Jonathan. Tell him I sent you. He will sit there and go through databases with you and help you check that out, okay? And he will also give you some really great wisdom and feedback on your choices and why you should or shouldn't choose certain choices. He's been doing this business forever. One thing you can do first is you can just search it up on Google, see if somebody else has your domain name. That's a really easy way to find out, although sometimes they won't come up. So that's when you call Bluehost and you say, hey, I'm thinking about this one, and they can tell you if it's in the database at all. There's another website you can go to and do it yourself, but since you need the domain anyway, just go ahead and call Bluehost and they can help you out. Use that free service. Then you'll need to install WordPress.org. So go get yourself an account and install that, and then choose a theme. Now, when you talk to Bluehost, they're probably going to try to sell you on a free one. I do not recommend that. OptimizePress, period. That's the way to go. It's easy to use. It gives you the opt-in pages. If you want to do a webinar, you can host your opt-in pages right there. It integrates with Stripe, which is a payment gateway to get you paid if you don't want to use PayPal, or if you want to use something a little more substantial than PayPal. Has a great look and great updates. It's constantly updating. It's an excellent company, highly rated. Now, WordPress has many, many free plugins with endless functionalities. There's a lot of online YouTube training for this, this type of thing. So you'll want to get paid. The free way is through PayPal. Okay, it includes the payment gateway and the shopping cart all in one. And it has very clear instructions on how to get the buttons onto your site. Okay, I'm sure you've gone onto sites before and you've seen the PayPal Pay Now buttons. So get those on there and link that up with your PayPal. You'll have to sign up for PayPal if you don't already have one. All right, so here's your homework from Module 3. What's next? Sign up for Bluehost. Download your WordPress.org. Choose your domain name. Purchase OptimizePress. They have yearly packages for as low as 97. Excuse me. Work with PayPal to get your buttons on the page and then begin building your pages. All right, there's a lot of how-tos on this. If you get in and kind of dive in and start doing it yourself, you'll learn pretty quickly. If you want to have someone do that for you and you don't want to get into website design and that kind of thing, I'm kind of in both camps. I don't like to do heavy that design, but I've worked with OptimizePress because it's so easy. Again, I can help you with that. I've got an incredible VA service that does website design, and his team is really good with OptimizePress. So again, send me an email. Let me know if you want to have that information. So now what? So we've been through 3 modules. Okay, so you have your business idea, you've done your homework, and now you've built your storefront, because now you have your Bluehost hosting, you've got your WordPress.org and your OptimizePress and your PayPal buttons, okay, for your idea. And it may just be that you have one training up there. I don't know. That's another class, and I can definitely help you with that. That's really my specialty, is helping people find out what they're going to sell, what they're going to do with all that homework they did. Next, so how do you want to get the word out? This is a little extra mod here I'm going to do at the end. How are you going to get the word out, right? So now you're open. You need to advertise. You need to tell people. What's the best way and fastest way to get customers? And are you a marketing and advertising guru? And if you're not, you need to stay on. All right, one of the best ways to get your information out, get who you are out, is to start blogging. And you can do that through your WordPress site. You can, through RSS feed, you can get those onto other sites. You can get people to subscribe. Again, the OptimizePress and WordPress has all that functionality. Highly recommended, get yourself social media sites if you don't already. So choose 1 or 2. Do them really well, okay? If is it your first time with social media, do 1. Create the profile. Start, sending some posts out on that, get warmed up to that, and then grab another one. You don't want to have unfinished sites out there, okay, or ones that you don't manage very well. Post regularly, so find out what you can commit to, and there's ways to post to all of them at the same time. So there's every post, there's Buffer, Hootsuite, so you can store up a lot of posts to kind of go on the days you want to. So say Sunday, you just write 10 posts for the week or whatever. Now, I recommend Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, and Pinterest. Any 1 or 2 of those options. Find out where your audience hangs out, though, right? So you don't want to be sending all your posts and your information and your advertisements out through Twitter if your people hang out on Pinterest. You may want to check out the percentages. There's a lot of infographics out there about who hangs out where and what times. All kinds of information out there, which I love analytics. That's kind of my thing. Now, there's also paid traffic. We talked about doing the SEO research. That's $200. You can pay $200. I will have a full report for you. I think we can get it done within 3 days, and then have a little consult with you, 15 to 30 minutes, just kind of run you through that report and tell you what it's all about and what the information needs and how to best use it. You can use Google AdWords. You can create your own campaign on Google AdWords. You need to have a website first. It needs to look legitimate and all that type of thing. So if you just have 1 page, I don't know, you just need to kind of, they have great customer service though. If they deny you for an ad campaign or something, someone calls you almost immediately, or there's a phone number and email or something. So really, really good service there. And then all the social media sites, on all those sites, you can create campaigns and ads. So, just choose your social media site, and you can run campaigns there fairly cheap. Things to consider, okay, when you're building your website, when you're getting your advertisement out there, doing your marketing, keep it simple. I cannot stress this enough. Get a to-do list or a map and follow it very, very closely. Now, you can get on information overload. If you're new to this industry, if you're new to the online business industry, there is information out there that will keep you busy for the rest of your life. So try to pick one thing that you want to do, stick with it and do it well until you've kind of conquered it, not conquer maybe, but you've gotten really good at it. And then move on to the next thing, okay? Keep it clear. You want your information that you're giving to people to be clear. And then develop relationships with your audience. Interact with them. That's why I want, you should choose one social media site. One or two, enough that you can manage. Because when you start getting those people to interact with you or to speak to you or ask you questions, you want to be able to get back to them. You're doing so good, baby. Yes. My little 1-year-old, Ava, she is doing so awesome. And then you want it to look professional. So when you're doing your site and your social media profile, it's not going to be like your personal stuff, okay? So you're not going to use your personal Facebook to do your business, ever, okay? You want it to look professional. And you can do your business page from your personal. Maintain your brand and your angle. Make that strong, okay? Know what you stand for. Again, you can tweak it. It's fine. It's not, it's really not set in stone, but you want to own something so that you can be strong doing it. If you're flip-flopping around all the time, you can become kind of, wishy-washy to everyone else too. So try to find out what you're doing and stick with it. And then build and maintain your site. And then get your social media going and then test it. Again, everything's a test. Now, doing this all alone, it can be done. People do it alone all the time. It takes a long time to do it yourself. If you're a one-man show, it does take a long time. It takes a lot out of you. It does help to have someone guide you. I did it for myself and by myself for a very long time. And if you are bootstrapping, meaning you're using the resources you have and the money you have to build your business, sometimes you cannot afford to hire a professional team. Okay, I understand that. There are cheap ways to get things done. But any help at any level is good a lot of times. Okay, you're going to have to look at what you can budget and the time you have. If you're miserable in your job and you want to get out of there by, end of first quarter next year or whatever, and you're up against time, then you may want to put the money out. Okay, if you have a lot of time and not a lot of money, then you spend your time on doing your own thing. Simple tasks can be subbed out, outsourced. Okay, we talked about outsourcing. If you want to get Timothy Ferriss's book, it's really good. It teaches you about that outsourcing. Although my VA service, truly, without you having to do the research, just let me know and I'll put you in touch with them. And then the creme de la creme is the coaching and mentoring. If you really want to get through something, you really want someone to keep you on track, that's the way to do it. The benefits of having help is that it helps you stay on track and helps you stay true to your vision. Gives you ideas and resources beyond what you know. You cannot know it all. You get unbiased advice based on knowledge and experience in the industry. Okay, if you talk to someone who's been doing the online business, been in that industry for a while. You get help in all areas, mental, emotional, logistical. You get accountability, support, and it is faster and more efficient and effective to have a coach or a mentor by your side because you're leveraging everything they know. Now, is it right for you? Now, talking about myself, of course, and I do offer just for this, if you've gone through this webinar, I'm offering a 1-hour consultation for you. Now, there's no obligation, no risk, okay? Now, normally on a 30-minute consultation, I'm going to guide the entire conversation just to utilize that 30 minutes. It goes pretty fast. However, because you've been through this webinar, through this little training, I want to give you 1 hour. And I'm going to let you do most of the talking for the first half hour. I want to know what your vision is. What are you thinking? What's your place in life? Where are you at? Let's just kind of fill that out. And that'll help you as much as I can and deliver as much value as I can in that first hour. Okay? And then, I'm saying the hour is good through Wednesday night. Okay? I have this webinar on Monday. They give you 48 hours to decide, or through Wednesday night, okay, up to midnight Wednesday night, Pacific Standard Time. Give you up till midnight. That's how good the hour is for, okay? And like I said, I normally only do 30 minutes. All right, now with this, I'm gonna let you talk openly, okay? Your vision, your stumbling blocks and all of that. Again, this is free, okay? This is my free, you're leveraging my experience and my knowledge for free, okay? It can't hurt, right? It can only help. All right, so if you're interested in that, let me put my email address back up there. It's Gerri, Gerri, at paycheck2prosperity.com. And that's my vision. My vision is that, and it's not only about money, but it's taking that very limited paycheck, whether it's in your life or your bank account, that paycheck, and prospering. Okay, moving above that, moving out of that in all areas of your life. Okay, and this is what the 1 hour phone call is going to be about. Okay, so again, Gerri, Gerri, at paycheck2prosperity.com. Let's talk about you. Talk about what your vision is. What are you struggling with? What are your fears? Where do you want to be? What are your goals? What do you hate right now? What do you want to get out of? What is your motivation? It's all about you, okay? I want to hear about you, and I want to help you as much as I can in that hour. Again, send me an email, and we'll set up a time, and you'll get your hour. I really appreciate y'all for being on this call. Thank you for dealing with the stay-at-home mom, and I'm a stay-at-home single mom. I don't have the dad to watch the kids, right? So I appreciate y'all hanging with me on that. And my daughter did really, really good. I'm really proud of her. And we'll do this again. So keep in touch. Send me an email. Let me know if you want to know anything else. And I'm looking forward to talking to you for that hour. Thanks again.